You're listening to Sacks in the Basement, a production of the Broadcast Basement Limited, where every show is 30 minutes of good and comes from a basement bar on the south side of Chicago. Pull up a stool, pour a cold one, and join us right now for Sacks in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at sacksinthebasement.com. And welcome down to Sacks in the Basement. My name is Chris Lanuti. Pull up a stool, my 9-foot homemade oak bar, and pour yourself a cold one. Every day since opening day, we have been giving you the complete White Sox season 2020, all simulated using MLB The Show 20, and it's brought to you by the fine folks over at Cork and Kerry at the Park, 33rd and Princeton, and they are now open. Or you can also still order on Grubhub or direct through corkandcarryatthepark.com. And big news, today is also the opening day of their beer garden out on Western Avenue. Cork and Kerry is back, and congratulations to them. Meanwhile, congrats to the Chicago White Sox. They're on a 4-game winning streak, and they are 14 games over 500, the high mark of the season so far for them. And we've reached the point in the season where we start to see the All-Star race. So far, let me give you the update. Gio Gonzalez is 7-0 with a 3.06 earned run average and sits 7th right now on the list of American League pitchers trying to make the All-Star game. Steve Cishek sits at the top of relievers with Aaron Bummer sitting 3rd. Yasmani Grandal right now leads all catchers, and Jose Abreu leads all first basemen in votes. Tim Anderson's running 2nd to Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Some other names appearing on lists, but so far not towards the top 3 yet. We will keep you updated as the season continues. Meanwhile, the White Sox go for the sweep today in Kansas City. It would be their 2nd series sweep in a row. Dylan Cease is taking the mound. It's time for us to go out to KC. You are listening to the podcast for fans by fans. Sacks in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at sacksinthebasement.com. Let's go. Kauffman Stadium and the 14 over 500 Chicago White Sox going for the sweep against the Kansas City Royals, sitting at 25-37. Hello everybody, my name is Chris Lanuti, and we are ready for yet another simulated game, a simulated broadcast by Sacks in the Basement, brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park. Taking the mound today for the Royals, Jacob Junis. We've seen him a few times. 12 starts, 3-6 record, 4.91 ERA, 66 innings and 75 hits, 21 walks, a whip of 1.45 with 57 strikeouts. Leading off today for the White Sox for the first time, Luis Robert will be the leadoff man. Tim Anderson taking the day off, and Ricky Renteria experimenting with the man leading all of Major League Baseball in stolen bases, moving him up to the 1 spot. Takes an outside fastball for a strike, and we're underway, 0-1 the count. First pitch at 7:05. After this game, the White Sox have a nighttime flight back to Chicago, where they will take on Detroit for 3 over this weekend. The low outside curveball misses. Roberts hitting .209, but has come alive over the last couple of weeks. 72 degrees, 1 mile-an-hour winds barely moving the flags left to right. On a partly cloudy day, 1-2 the count now. Detroit just lost to Oakland in Oakland, so they're heading to their plane. So even though they are finished with their game, and we are just starting, with the time difference, we'll pretty much all get to Chicago around the same time. Robert takes a 2-2 pitch, swings and misses at it up in the zone. First strikeout for Junis, and there's 1 gone. I don't mind the experimentation with Robert leading off in this game. He's got Yasmani Grandal backing him up, giving him some protection. As the game goes on, he may come up in a situation and get a pretty good pitch to hit. .285 is Grandal hitting, 17 home runs on the season. Leads all American League catchers in the All-Star vote at this point. But he's 0-2 in the count quickly. Over his last 6 games, 3 home runs and 9 RBI from Yasmani Grandal, who had the day off yesterday, and James McCann had one hell of a day in his place. This is a curveball in the dirt, 1-2 now the count from Junis. 1 out top of the first inning. Grandal standing in the left-handed batter's box against the righty Junis. The pitch on the way. Swung on and missed a four-seamer high and away. He chased it. 2 gone, 2 strikeouts for Junis, kicking off this game against the Sox. Abreu will get his chance now, the 3-hitter for the team. Currently with 11 home runs and a .265 average. Junis in on the wind, a four-seamer low and away, 1-0 the count. They're underway in Cincinnati. Already the Scrubs are winning 5-1. I look forward to the crosstown games this year and calling those. Although I'd far more want to see them in real life. I feel like we're hitting almost the danger zone here, where they got to figure things out here, MLB and MLBPA. As Abreu fouls that one off, 1-2 the count. I want to see baseball. I don't know if I want to see 40 games, though. It's going to feel cheap. A slider away misses, 2-2 the count. Mainstream media, mainstream sports media, they're going to take whatever they can get. Their jobs are on the line. As a slider misses outside. They're going to tell you it's great no matter what, because they don't want you to be mad at the game. But I'm going to be very frustrated here if they try to give me a 20 or 30 or 40 game season and then tell me that that is a legit World Series champion. Unless, of course, it is the White Sox. Abreu sends this one out into deep right field. It's tailing back to the wall. That is off the wall. Abreu's already at second base when Soler collects it. It hung up there forever. He was just slowly going back. I kept expecting him to just put his hand up and make the catch. But it just hits the wall. I mean, it almost gets over. A big towering shot that just kept drifting out there. So a 2-out double, and Moncada comes to the plate in the left-handed batter's box with Abreu on second. Moncada hitting .324, swings and misses at a four-seamer away, but over the plate. 0-1 the count. Junis checks the runner. Slider outside, misses. 1-1. .389 for Moncada over his last 4 games. That's just a tick under 400. A high four-seam fastball misses, and the count is 2-1. Even when Yoan is hot, you don't even realize it. He's just steady in the middle spot there in the order. Four-seam fastball low and away, 3-1. And he'd be higher up in the All-Star vote. But he's got Anthony Rendon, who's a name, also having a good year, very comparable to Yoan's, and Josh Donaldson, who's winning the Triple Crown as of today. Even after the White Sox basically tamed him all weekend, this past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He came right out of the gate. In his next series, he started hitting the ball all over the place. Count is now full. Payoff pitch with 2 outs and a runner on second to Moncada. Misses outside, he's going to walk. 2 on now with 2 out. White Sox have been able to do this to the Royals all week long. Several times with 2 out, nobody on, the Sox were able to get a couple runners on and then get him in. 14 homers and 39 RBI for Eloy Jimenez. A .261 average. The average has dropped 15 points, I would say, in the last 2 weeks. It's not that he hasn't been productive. But I was kind of hoping the 275 to 279 range was just going to improve into the 280s. And he would become a beast in the middle of that lineup. Down in the 5 spot, even with Encarnacion protecting him. And Encarnacion has been hitting a lot lately. Jimenez has been struggling. 1-1 the count here from Junis. The pitch on the way. A low curveball misses, 2-1. Edwin's on deck, the DH today. Sox have done a good job over the last couple of days getting their starters in the game. Very few guys have needed any time off in the last week. Roster has been shuffled well. Encarnacion has 15 home runs. Let's see Jimenez tie him with that right now. 3-1 count. Swung on and missed a slider low and in. The count is full. So again, Junis has a Sox hitter to a full count. 2 on this time to Jimenez. The pitch on the way. Swung on and chopped back up the middle. Get through. It will not get through. And Moncada is out by a hair on the flip to second base. A very good play. Well behind the bag at second. Ends the first. Midway through it. There's no score. KC coming up. Dylan Cease, 12 starts, 5-4 record, 3.88 earned run average, and over 69 2/3 innings, a 1.36 whip. That's got 69 strikeouts attached to it, 71 hits and 24 walks over those innings pitched. Overall, I would say this is a very good year for Dylan compared to last year. He is improving, and it feels like there's a corner that if he turns that, he could become dominant. Alberto Mondesi's hitting .242, stands in the left-handed batter's box, and the switch hitter takes a four-seamer away for ball one, just missed low and outside. Cease has really improved with Grandal behind the plate. There was one game with McCann back there where he was efficient, but overall you see Yasmani move around the plate for him as a four-seamer, low and inside, goes for a swinging strike. He moves around a lot with him, more than with any other pitcher I've noticed. And he works much quicker with Grandal. An outside four-seamer misses away, 2-1. Grandal now down on his knee on the outside corner. Earlier was the inside corner. This one's popped up into left field along the line. Jimenez comes over and makes the catch in fair territory. And there's one gone here in the bottom of the first inning. They're underway right now in Minnesota, Angels and the Twins. Twins just finished with Tampa Bay. Beat them up. But now you have two first-place teams facing off in Minneapolis this weekend for a long four-game series. Meanwhile, 0-2 to Alex Gordon, .268 hitter. He has done very well this week for the Royals against the Sox. But so far, it's only been one man, really, consistently putting the bat on the ball for the Royals. And that's why the Sox have taken the first two games of this series. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and rifled out in the right center field. That'll get down in front of Mazzara. He tosses it in the second. It's a good time to tell you the lineup for the White Sox, as that's a single for Gordon, the two-hitter. Grandal's behind the plate, Abreu at first. Second base is Madrigal. Shortstop is Danny Mendick. Third base, Moncada. Left field, Jimenez. Center field, Robert. Right field, Nomar Mazara with his first start in a week. Whit Merrifield's up, hitting .220, takes a ball outside, 1-0 the count. Next offering, crushed out in the left field, tailing back towards the wall. Jimenez is going to get to it after it bounces off the wall. Merrifield is right on the heels of the lead runner, Gordon. Merrifield was getting the second as Gordon was rounding second. He has a double. Gordon's in the third. Kansas City in business early here with one out. That's Whit Merrifield's first hit of the series against Dylan Cease. And Cease now faces Jorge Soler. 11 homers and 26 RBIs, a .780 OPS. Takes a ball outside, 1-0 the count. Hitting .251. Let's see if Dylan can get out of this inning. Low pitch in the dirt, blocked by Grandal, a curveball away, 2-0 the count. Dylan looks in, checks the runners, throws one low and away, a slider, 3-0, and he's in danger of loading the bases here with one out and Hunter Dozier coming up. And that man can hit. 3-0 count right now to Soler. The pitch. Swung on and fouled off down the first base line. 3-1 the count. It's right down the middle. Soler just couldn't catch up to it. Made solid contact. The next pitch on the way. Misses inside on a curveball. Grandal wanted it, but that was too far inside. The bases are loaded with one out here in the bottom of the first inning. And Dozier comes to the plate with 12 home runs and 32 RBIs to go with his .261 average. The big right-handed third baseman. A very capable hitter, and Dylan Cease is in trouble right now. They're going to come out and have a conversation with him real quick. Just kind of tell him, like, hey, you're 15 pitches in, got 8 balls, you got 7 strikes. I'm sure they're not telling him that, but they're probably talking about how they're going to pitch to Dozier. And then it's only the first inning. Minimize the damage. This is a good team you have here. Everyone in the infield standing on that mound as Cooper talks to each and every one of them. And now he's back to the dugout with the bases loaded. And Dozier taking a ball outside. So 1-0 the count. KC fans anticipating something here. It's been a rough series for them. Sox blew them out the first night in total control yesterday. as a four-seamer swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. They have not had a lead in this series. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and sent out into right field. Mazara's tailing back towards the wall. He's near the track. He makes the catch and bounces off the wall. A run is going to score here on a very deep flyout that almost got out of here. Mazara catches it on the run, and the setting sun hits him right in the face as he gets to the track. It's just bright out there along that wall in right field. He makes the catch, and as you look at the replay, he kind of closes his eyes, and the ball lands in there, luckily. There's 2 gone, and Cease can possibly escape here, only giving up 1 run, but Sal Perez is up. 254 average, 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, and he had his last home run 2 nights ago against the White Sox. Runners at first and third. First pitch rifled over to second base. Madrigal with a nice play, flips over to Mendick. The inning is over. That's a best case scenario, I think, for the White Sox. Dylan Cease was in trouble, and they escape only giving up 1 run. After 1, it's 1-0 Kansas City. Edwin Encarnacion will lead off. 32 RBI and 15 home runs go with his .263 average. Jacob Junis needed 27 pitches in the first inning. So both pitchers labored early on, but Junis has the 1-0 lead. First pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled off a sinker low and away, 0-1 the count. Now Edwin fouls off another sinker inside, also in the zone, 0-2. So quickly in the hole. Let's see what he does next. That pitch is low and away. He lays off it, 1-2. Curveball away, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. The MLB draft is coming up. It'll be short and sweet, which is unfortunate. We will talk about it when we get the results. It's kind of hard to speculate on what teams are going to do because it's a very different draft. So we're taking the reactionary. We'll get some experts on. We'll talk about it during the games. We'll cover what's going on with the White Sox in real life with their draft. There's a 2-2 pitch on the way to Encarnacion. He swung on and lifted into the camera well on the fly. Almost hit a camera right there. 2-2 the count remains. Junis with the kick and the pitch. High and inside, fouled off. A very long at bat now. 8 pitches for Encarnacion. After he started 0-2, he's fighting here. Inside pitch hits him on the hip. Encarnacion gets plunked. There have been a few balls going off of players in this game. I would say at this moment, more hit-by pitches between these two teams than any other series we've seen so far. As Nomar Mazara steps in with no outs and a .195 average, 5 homers, the lefty gets a rare start after losing his starting job. And here's a guy who has to prove something to get back in that lineup. Four-seam fastball up and away, misses. He's 1 for 13 lifetime with 2 strikeouts against Junis. He's got a slow runner in Encarnacion over at first base. A low inside pitch misses 2-0. Did Junis get frustrated because the at-bat was so long that he hits Encarnacion? Because he didn't just touch him. He didn't graze him. He put that right off the middle of him. And that's a sinker that just hits the zone 2-1. And he doesn't look like he's very inaccurate. It could have been a frustration pitch right there. 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and sent over to second. A nice play by Merrifield. He spins and throws it over to short, and they're going to double off Mazara. 4-6-3. Nomar with the double play, and Danny Mendick's up, hitting .254. 3 long balls. Playing shortstop today, first time we've seen him there this season. Inside curveball called a strike, 0-1 the count. 2 outs, top of the second. Mendick in his last 4 games hitting .471. He's been good off the bench. We have a lot of guys that come off the bench, and when they're getting that one start, they're making the most of it. James McCann showed that last night. Mendick shows that with his stats over his last 4 starts. He swings and misses there, though, and Junis sits him down on 3 pitches. We're midway through the second. 1-0 Royals. Ryan O'Hearn will come to the plate, 21 RBIs and 7 homers to go with his .204 average. Dylan Cease needed 19 pitches in the first inning. Loaded up the bases with 1 out and escaped giving up only 1 run with a little help from his friends in the defense. Needs a more efficient inning here as a 4-seamer gets across for a strike, 0-1 the count. O'Hearn, the lefty, had multiple home runs the week leading in to this series. But the White Sox have shut him down. 0-2 now as he swings at one low and away. Cease is ahead in this count. Quickly into the line, Grandal sets up on the inside corner. That one comes up and in. Curveball almost hits him. 1-2, and trust me, that one gets away. Cease isn't looking to hit anybody. There's no retaliation, I would think, coming at all for what happened to Encarnacion. I don't think that it really stood out. 1-2 pitch fouled off. Nice play made in the stands. Crowd erupts. Count remains 1-2. Next pitch on the way. This is low and inside on a 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. 2-2 count. The kick and the wind and the throw, and he swings and he misses. 4-seam fastball low and inside. O'Hearn goes over the top of it. Cease has his first strikeout. And there's one gone here in the bottom of the second inning. And Franco comes up. It's been pretty much the same lineup all 3 days for the Royals. They're not really mixing it up here. Franco's hitting .234 with 7 homers, 22 RBIs. He walked last night, came around and scored in the 1 inning that the Royals put anything together. He's 0-1 now after a swinging strike. Next one low and outside. Swings and misses at it. It was away and out of the zone. 0-2 to count. So for the second straight batter, Cease quickly 0-2. Now he goes low with a slider below the knees. Batter doesn't chase. 1-2 pitch. Grandal sets up halfway behind the batter. Inside pitch jams him. Nice play by the ball boy near the dugout. 1-2. Now low and away, misses 2-2. The count is even. Cease back into the line quickly. The pitch. Swung on and fouled off a slider in the zone. Count remains 2-2. Grandal moves around a lot back there with him. This one's popped out to left field. Underneath it is Jimenez. He'll make the catch. There's 2 gone. So Dylan showing a lot more control, a lot more poise here in the second inning. And he has Brett Phillips up, hitting .204. The outfielder's a left-handed hitter. Grandal down on one knee, takes one low in the zone for ball 1. He almost had a grand slam the other night in the blowout when the Sox really put it on Kansas City. It would have made it closer, but I don't think it would have mattered much. 2-0 pitch now on the way. Swung on and missed, a 4-seamer. They're working him low. Grandal keeps going down to one knee, moving the glove inside or outside. He's back down on one knee with the glove outside the plate, and he gets it right there on the corner. Perfect frame, 2-2. Yasmani's been very good for Dylan. It's clear watching all these games. Induces a ground ball here, scooped by Mendick, who is playing behind second. He's going to get it over to first, and that ends the second inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Dylan Cease after a messy first. And after 2, we're trailing by 1. And an outside slider misses, 1-0 the count from Junis. Junis has needed 43 pitches to get through 2 innings. That was pitch number 44. Number 45 is lined to second base and dropped by Merrifield. Now he throws it over the head of his first baseman, and Madrigal is safe. E4. Mads does not take off as it was backed up by the catcher, but he is on. That was a hot line drive. Hit the glove and popped out of Whit Merrifield, who then panicked, spun, and threw it over the head of his first baseman, but not by much. So Mads is on base. Luis Robert in the top of the order's up. First pitch on the way to Robert. Outside fastball catches the corner, 0-1 the count. He has scored 8 runs in his last 8 games. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and sent out in the right field. That's going to get down and head towards the corner. Madrigal's around second and on his way to third. Roberts on his way to second already. Mads rounds third. He's going to come home. The throw into the relay to the plate. He is safe underneath the tag, and Madrigal scores from first base, and this game is tied. Luis Robert hits one, Oppo, down the right field line, and it rolls into the corner, and Madrigal never hesitated all the way home. Slides around the catcher Perez as he's fielding the ball and touches that plate with his backhand. He's lucky he didn't overslide the plate. He got it as he threw the hand out. Grandal now comes up with Robert on second. And a tie ball game, no outs here in the top of the third. A base hit's going to score Robert. He is very fast. He's also capable of stealing third. Although he doesn't want to do that with a lefty up at the plate. It's easier when your right-handed batter is kind of shielding the catcher. 0-1 pitch to Grandal. Low and inside a sinker called a strike, 0-2. 28 stolen bases so far for Robert. But already in scoring position here, in the middle of the order coming up right now. Your big hitters now, from 2 through 6. His job is to run and keep Junis occupied just a little bit. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Grandal goes down. Ugly swing on that one. Fourth strikeout for Junis, second one by Grandal. Abreu's going to come to the plate now. He has struck out on 2 pitches outside the zone. So Junis all over Yasmani Grandal while Abreu has a double in the first inning. The first pitch low and away, a curveball. 1-0 the count. 4 for 10 in this series. He has an .840 OPS coming into this game. It's a final in San Francisco. They had day baseball, went a little late. San Diego beats them 3-0. Ground ball over to second base, fielded by Merrifield over to first. The 4-3 put out, and Robert advances over to third base. There's 2 gone. The error by Merrifield, the Robert double, and now 2 outs. And Moncada comes to the plate hitting .324 with a runner on third he'd like to push across. And a low outside fastball just catches the zone. 0-1 the count. Moncada is 10 for 25 with 2 home runs. That's a .400 average against Junis. An outside changeup misses 1-1 the count. Trust me, Jacob Junis knows he hits well against him. With stats like that. High pitch, 2-1. Into the wind, and he backs off a 1 low and inside at the knees. 3-1 now. Eloy Jimenez stands on deck. With 2 outs here in the top of the third and Luis Robert standing on third base. Tie ball game, the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Count will go full. He was in the zone. He didn't reach for anything. Next pitch to Moncada. Low and away, he walked him. So Yoan tosses the bat and goes down to first base. Junis up to 58 pitches here through 2 2/3 innings. So the White Sox not making it easy on him, even though the game is tied 1-1. And Jimenez comes to the plate. And man, this big man has not had a home run in a while. 1 for 9 in this series as well with a single. He's slumping a little bit. And down to 260. Outside sinker misses. 1-0 the count. He is 4 for 16. That's a .250 average with 4 RBIs against Junis. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Inside slider taken for a strike. 1-1. Junis delivers. Swung on and sent over to second base. A chopper fielded by Whit Merrifield on the run. He makes a nice play over to first base. Robert hits the double and ties up this ball game, but they can't get him home. He's stranded on third. Midway through to third. 1-1. Foundation issues not properly handled can be costly. Family Waterproofing Solutions is owned by Ken, a veteran of the United States Marines, and his wife Maria. making them a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business that will diagnose and repair wet or leaky basements. And while they're located on the Sac side, Family Waterproofing services the entire Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. And now, after taking time off to ensure they can do things safely and securely for you, Family Waterproofing is back in business and doing jobs. Plus, part of the proceeds for every job that they do are donated to veteran and first responder organizations to support our frontline defenders. And currently, Sox in the Basement listeners have access to special pricing when they contact Family Waterproofing Solutions now, 708-330-4466, or visit them today at FamilyBasementWaterproofing.com. You just heard from Family Waterproofing Solutions here in the Family Waterproofing Solutions third inning. Alberto Mondesi is coming up to the plate 0 for 1 with a flyout in the first. Remember, they have Sox in the Basement deals. They have a whole list of them. So when you call them or contact them, make sure that you mention Sox in the Basement as a bunt dies right in front of the plate. Grandal gets up, spins, throws, and he doesn't get him. A bang-bang play at first, and Mondesi is on with the bunt hit that dies in front of the plate before it even reaches the grass. And I think Grandal was a little surprised. He did the best he could, but the runner's on. And with no outs in the bottom of the third and a runner on first with a lot of speed, Alex Gordon is up 1 for 1 in this game, and they got to watch Mondesi. The lefty Gordon stands in. And the pitch on the way. Low and away, but in the zone, 0-1 the count. Runner with a big lead. They're going to pitch out, nothing going. Count even at 1. The aggressiveness of Mondesi with the bunt hit seems to have led the Sox to believe the Royals want that run back by any means necessary. Now, a changeup low and in called a ball. Renteria didn't like that. He's asking where that pitch was. 2-1 the count to Gordon. The pitch from Cease. Low and away, misses a four-seamer. 3-1. These are close pitches. He's not getting the call. Whit Merrifield stands on deck. It's up to Dillon to keep this game tight right now. Outside pitch, flare down the third baseline, foul. Count is full, 3-2, so we're going to have a payoff pitch with a very fast runner at first. Swings and sends that one down the third baseline, foul as well. Count remains 3-2. And now a line drive to second, grabbed by Madrigal, sent over to first. He almost got the runner sleeping. He grabs the line drive out of the air and sends that one over to first, and they almost get the force out. There's one gone now in the bottom of the third inning. And Merrifield takes a four-seamer low above the knees, 0-1 the count. He has 32 RBIs, second on the Royals. Even though that average is pretty disastrous, at least early on in this season. Runners going, Grandal pops up and throws down. Close play at second, they're going to call him safe. Head first slide from Mondesi. So the runner advances. We thought he was going to go, so did the White Sox. We just didn't guess when he was going. 1-1 count, one out, the pitch. Sent down the first baseline, foul, 1-2. Cease up to 48 pitches here. Pitch number 49. Flared out in the right field. That is not going to go foul. It's going to be fair and then roll foul by the pole. Runners coming around and will score. The throw comes in over Madrigal's head from Nomar Mazara, and Grandal has to grab it. Merrifield still holds at second base on the bad throw in. It's a 2-1 ball game. So the Sox got a run to tie this game, and the Royals get it right back. And now here's Soler with a walk in the first inning, and an inside slider misses 1-0 the count. One more quick word about Family Waterproofing Solutions. Not only are they veteran-owned, female-owned, and family-owned, but don't forget they give a portion of the proceeds to veteran and first responder organizations. They're good people. 2-0 count on an outside pitch. Cease now comes back inside. This one's fouled off down the third base line. Merrifield has average speed. I would imagine he comes home on a well-hit ball. popped up a four-seamer back behind the plate. 2-2 to count is even. 2-1 Royals with one out here in the bottom of the third. Sox tied it up in the top of the third, and then the lead went away again. Swung on and missed. Soler sits down. Second strikeout from Cease. Royals came to play today. The offense doing a lot more than what we saw them do early on in the first two games. On the other hand, White Sox pitching has had the benefit of an offense that jumped out early on the Kansas City Royals. Dylan Cease has not had that. Hunter Dozier swings and misses at a four-seamer tailing away. 0-1 the count. 2 outs, bottom of the third. Had a sac fly in the first inning that gave the Royals the 1-0 lead. And the bases loaded at that time. Deep fly ball in the right center caught at the wall by Mazara. Low curveball misses. 1-1 the count is even to Dozier. Cease checks Merrifield at second. Now a high four-seamer misses the zone. 2-1. Dillon with the pitch. High and in, misses. 3-1. With Sal Perez on deck. We'll see what Grandal and Cease decide to do here. Inside pitch catches the zone, nicely framed. 3-2 to count is full. The pitch. Swung on and popped up down the right field line. Mazara charging over out of play will just miss making the catch. Unable to get there. Count remains 3-2. Next offering swung on and sent down the first base line into the crowd immediately. Full count yet again. The payoff pitch. Grounded up the middle, that's a base hit. Robert comes up throwing for home. There will be a play at the plate. He is safe. Throw comes back over to second base, and they're going to get the runner, and the inning is over. So the throw comes home. Grandal stepped up, feeling like it wasn't going to make it home, and then throws the second and ends the inning. The Royals got 2. In the bottom of the third inning, we're going to the top of the fourth, trailing 3-1. Edwin Encarnacion was hit by a pitch in the second inning. He led off that inning. He leads off the fourth. 61 pitches so far for Junis, the exact same amount through 3 innings for Dylan Cease. A high four-seamer misses. 1-0 the count. Encarnacion 3 for 21 lifetime with 5 strikeouts against Junis. And now the hit by pitch. Cracks this one down the right field line, tailing back towards the pole. Get out of here. Here it comes. It's down in fair territory in the corner and bounces over the wall. And that's a ground rule double for Edwin. So Encarnacion is on second with no outs, and here comes Mazara. Inside pitch, four-seam fastball, 0-1 the count. Nomar hitting 194. Lost his starting job. He might lose his role on the team soon. The 0-1 pitch. Low changeup misses. 1-1. White Sox took a chance acquiring him, hoping they had hidden gold. But it might have been fool's gold. Count is even at 1, no outs. Encarnacion at second. 3-1 Royals. Swung on and driven deep. Back towards the wall. It is foul. For a moment I thought he had it. He actually stood there and watched it. He sucked me in. Nomar sucked me in on that one. 1-2 the count now. He hit it and he dropped his bat like he had hit a home run. And now he strikes out on a slider at the knees without even swinging. Oh, it's a clown show. Danny Mendick comes to the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the second inning. Danny was part of that play at the end of last inning. Thought it was Madrigal at first. They're both short little guys. They're both out there for the first time together as Mendick is playing short. So the ball comes in from Robert. It felt like it was going to be close, but Grandal must have thought, nope, not a chance. So he runs out and meets the ball near the mound. Goes to second. As Mendick now gets a hold of this one and sends it out deep to the left field wall, and that will hit and stick in the dirt. It's a double for Mendick. Encarnacion thought it was going to be caught and only makes it to third. So with one out, it's runners at second and third on the double from Danny Mendick, and Nick Madrigal comes to the plate. To finish the story, Grandal runs up, gets the ball, and immediately goes to second and gets the batter trying to get a double. Madrigal got on with a line drive off the glove of Merrifield. As it hit the ground, he grabbed it and spun and threw over the head of first base, and Mads was safe. He's 0-2 here in the count with one out in the top of the fourth inning and runners on second and third. Encarnacion is slow, but Mendick is quick. He would score on a base hit here likely and tie this game. Sox trailing 3-1. Gave up a run in the first. Got a run in the top of the third. Gave up two in the bottom of the third. We're here in the top of the fourth. Swung on and rifled over to first base. Bobbled. The only play is going to be at first. It's a foot race. O'Hearn dropped the ball. Junis gets to first and catches it right before Madrigal can get there. A lot of speed. And somehow Encarnacion didn't go home? What? Somebody's got to explain to me why Edwin doesn't go home on that play. The White Sox don't have a contact play on, and everybody's standing there in the same spot. Now Roberts up, 1 for 2, and he's got a 1-1 count. Swung on and ripped down the third base line, foul 1-2. It is inexcusable to me that Edwin Encarnacion doesn't go home there. Ripped out in the right field, but straight at Soler. That was a hard hit ball. A little bit over, it gets into the gap. A disappointing inning for the White Sox and a failure on the base paths. Midway through the fourth. Midway through the fourth, trailing 3-1. Sal Perez is 0 for 1 with a ground out in the first inning. He's hitting .253, slugging .421. And Dylan Cease stands on the mound trailing 3-1. And 62 pitches already under his belt through 3 innings. First pitch pops straight up. Grandal just stands up, takes off the mask, and will catch it where the umpire had been standing. One gone here in the bottom of the fourth on one pitch. And Ryan O'Hearn comes up 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the second. The ball that was hit by Madrigal bounced twice and then went off the glove of O'Hearn. The only obvious answer as to why Encarnacion doesn't take off is the belief that since he's a slow runner, they would go home. With a 3-run lead, most smart baseball people would think that they're just going to take the next out. That's a dangerous play going home. Instead, they go get the runner at first base, and we're still standing at second and third. 0-2 now to O'Hearn on 2 quick strikes. Swings and misses at a 4-seamer up and in. Cease sits him down. 4 pitches, 2 outs here. That's the kind of inning he needs right now. Michael Franco will now come up, the designated hitter. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out in the second. The pitch on the way. Change up right down the middle, taken for a strike. 0-1 the count. 2 outs now in the bottom of the fourth. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the White Sox coming up in the top of the fifth. Into the wind and the pitch. Away, a 4-seamer, 1-1. Now a low inside pitch, scooped by Abreu, tossed over to Cease, who will run over and touch first. And a 1-2-3 inning for Dylan. After 4, the Sox trail 3-1. Yasmani Grandal will lead us off. You're in a DP3 Tech 5th inning. DP3 Tech partnered with Microsoft and came up with a way for your business to take all of its systems and be able to link up with those, migrate them over into a system that allows you to work from anywhere, anytime, get people on the line, get people on the screen, get data on the screen, get images on the screen, show it to everybody, show it to one person. Very, very user-friendly and much better than the systems that people had to rely on in the beginning of the pandemic. And now what we have is an ability for you to be very flexible with your workers and get your business running like a fine-oiled machine. Details coming up midway through this inning. Yasmani Grandal takes a ball close inside and then swings wildly at one that was way outside. He is not seeing the pitchers very well, or at least not seeing Junis. Now he grounds this one down the first for the unassisted 3 ground out. He still goes down and touches the bag with his foot. And we'll head back to the bench. Abreu's 1 for 2 with 1 out here in the top of the 5th, and Junis sitting on 81 pitches. First pitch low and inside for ball 1. Junis into the line. Delivers a 4-seamer that's fouled off down the first base line, 1-1. There are 2 pitchers warming up in the Kansas City bullpen as Junis has the lead here in the top of the 5th. I think it's because of the amount of pitches he's thrown. As a 4-seam fastball low and away goes for a strike, 1-2. But likely they're there just in case this inning. And that just in case could happen at any time. White Sox throughout this series with 2 outs have strung together some hits. Today, they've had runners on and no outs or 1 out and have been unable to get them in. Only getting 1 across on a Luis Robert double that scored Madrigal from first on a play at the plate. A high pitch misses, 2-2 the count with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Perez sets up on the outside corner. Abreu made good contact but fouled that off down the third base line deep. Count is 2-2. Now he pops up a high pitch in foul territory near third base. Dozier's going to make the play. There's 2 gone. Here comes Moncada. Yoan walked in the 3rd inning last time he was up. He's hitting .324. Takes a 4-seamer at the knees, 0-1 the count. The low pitch is getting called a lot. If it's borderline and it's in the lower part of the zone, it's a strike. Next one ripped over the head of Daryl Boston, who dives out of the way, 0-2. Now Moncada sends one out in the right center field gap back towards the wall. It is going to bounce and hit the gate out there. He is in the second base with a double. He continues to stroke it. 19th double, a team-leading 19th double. I almost feel like when the All-Star vote came out a few days ago and the initial thing showed him about 7th on the list, he took great offense. Jimenez is 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts, and he is cold. 259, first time he's been below 260 in over a month. Spent most of May in the high 270s, batting average-wise. He's 0-1 on an outside curveball as Junis is up to 92 pitches. Moncada dances off of second as a changeup misses low. Count is even at 1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Sox trailing 3-1. Took the first 2 of this series, including a blowout in Game 1 on Tuesday night. Outside 4-seamer misses, 2-1 the count. The next offering, he swings at ball 3 and makes it 2-2. That was well outside. Jimenez makes contact, but that was a dumb swing. Check swing on an inside pitch. They're going to say he didn't go. Count is full of 3-2. With Encarnacion on deck and Moncada on second base with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. The payoff pitch from Junis. Swung on and ripped over to short. Nice play made by Mondesi over to first. He'll get him about a step before Jimenez gets there. The Royals out of that inning as well. Another runner in scoring position stranded midway through the 5th. 3-1 Royals. New challenges bring new technology. DP3 Tech has partnered with Microsoft to make things easier on you and your business. Imagine being able to get everybody together in a nice, easy, user experience friendly meeting room. and being able to share whatever you want in the room with just one click. You can migrate from old legacy on-premises equipment right now to flexible, secure, work-from-home friendly cloud services. Bring your group together faster, better, easier. Find out what DP3 Tech can do for you. Contact their cloud migrations team today, 312-896-2450, or email info@dp3tech.com. Dylan Cease sitting on 69 pitches. Throws pitch number 70 on the outside corner, swung on and missed for strike one here. As we kick off the bottom of the fifth inning with Brett Phillips, the lefty. And they put a shift on for Phillips. They didn't do that earlier in the year, but Phillips has now shown a tendency to pull towards the right side. So Moncada's over at short. And Madrigal in shallow right is going to make a great play. The shift pays off. He's standing in shallow right field in a ball that would have easily gone through the infield for a base hit. And he gets it over to Abreu at first for the first out. And Alberto Mondesi is now up 1 for 2 with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. And he pops that one straight back. Grandal with the mask off near the stands will make the catch. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And Cease, who had a high pitch count, sits now on only 73 pitches with 2 very quick outs. And he had a quick inning last time out. Alex Gordon's 1 for 2. The lefty stands in, and the first pitch, a high slider, 1-0 the count. It's also interesting that he's had 2 guys pop up in the last 3 batters he's faced, or last 4 batters he's faced, straight up to Grandal. That tells you something about the movement on that ball. And guys getting underneath it. 2-0 though now to Gordon. Four-seamer, 97 miles an hour, ripped down the first baseline foul. Count is now 2-1. Now he goes high and outside and misses 3-1 with Merrifield on deck. And Witt has been terrible against the White Sox. And we have played this team more than anybody else this season. But today, he's been pretty good. Except for the error that led to the run. 3-2 to count now on a swinging strike. Across the letters. The payoff pitch to Gordon with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth inning. Fouls off a four-seamer, almost got it by him. Down the third base line. He'll get another chance. Into the line goes Cease. The pitch. Sent out into center field. Coming on quickly is Robert. He will not get there in time. Falls between him and Mazara. It was hit towards center and then started to slice back towards right away from Luis. He almost gets there. I think he would have dove if the ball wasn't continuously carrying away from him. And I don't know if he knew where Mazara was there. They're going to go as a single, and Merrifield has got 2 doubles, an RBI, and a run scored. 2 for 2 in this game. Comes up with a runner on first base with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth. Dylan Cease sitting on 80 pitches now. That stupid tiger with the crown that the Royals have is doing something very obscene on top of the... I mean, it looks like something D-Generation X would do, but even worse. Right up on top of the dugout there. What kind of game is this? 1-0 the count now as that one misses outside the Merrifield from Cease. 2 outs, bottom of the fifth. Royals up 3-1. The guy doing all the damage is at the plate right now. Sent down the third base line, a slow roller foul. 1-1 the count. Sox have had ample opportunity to get back in this game. And to this point, it isn't as though Dylan Cease has had a terrible game. He has shown flashes of brilliance. And he's got Merrifield 2-2 in the count with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth. The pitch. Away, swung on and missed. He got him to chase a slider low and away. Cease skips off the mound. He's through 5, but he's trailing 3-1 here in Kansas City. Eric Soglund, 19 games, 6-4 record, 39 third innings pitched and a 4.35 earned run average. Righty's hitting 205 against him, lefty's hitting 214. And we've had trouble with him this week. We have been fortunate when they pull him out of the game or leave him in for too long, but for the next couple innings, he may give us some trouble. Here's Edwin. He's 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch. Had a double last time up. And the lefty goes inside with a quick 96-mile-an-hour fastball in on the hands. Call the ball. Now, the other two guys in the bullpen right now, Barlow and Stalmont, we've been all over them all year long. So I'd love it if they plan on bringing them in soon. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Hits the corner on the inside, 1-1. Encarnacion is yet to swing. Skoglund brings it, it's not exactly sidearm, but it's not up and down. He goes way out with a very long straight arm at like a 45-degree angle, as far away from his body as possible. The ball's out where his head is, at the top of his head when he releases. And then he throws that with his big frame across the plate at an angle. And it comes in, and sometimes it doesn't. You got to try to judge, is that coming back in the zone? This one's lifted out into center field, and dead center underneath it. Phillips will make the catch, and there's one gone. The Angels have jumped out to a 4-2 lead now in Minnesota. And Nomar Mazara comes up, 0 for 2. He's made a bad throw in on a relay that luckily didn't hurt the White Sox. And an inside two-seamer misses, 1-0 the count. Next pitch misses inside as well, 2-0. Now an inside four-seamer misses, 3-0 the count with Mendick on deck. One out, top of the sixth inning. The 3-0 pitch. Took it right down the middle. Four-seam fastball. Count is now 3-1. Meanwhile, the Mets, first place out in the East, losing 6-1 to Washington right now. That's the National League East. Swung on and sent over to short. A quick and easy 6-3 putout. There's two gone here in the sixth. They've switched up who's out in the bullpen. Maybe they're listening to the game. Two completely different pitchers now warming up out there. Danny Mendick comes up 1 for 2. He had a double. Edwin Encarnacion only made it from second to third on the double. That's brutal. And then Edwin didn't come home on a bobbled ground out at first base. It seems as though Edwin Encarnacion is the worst and slowest base runner in the history of baseball. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Low and inside, taken for a strike, 2-1. At least today he is. 2 outs, top of the sixth inning. Sox trailing 3-1. The pitch. Swung on and missed. He was way out in front of a changeup. 2-2. And that ball starts way outside and high. And then you're trying to figure out, is it going to stay out there or come back in? And if it comes in, will it come in so far that now I'm swinging at an inside pitch? The White Sox have had a hard time here against Skoglund. Not only in this series, but for the majority of the times they've seen him all year long. Mendick grounds this one over to third. Flipped over to first. A 1-2-3 inning for the Royals. And we're going to head to the bottom of the sixth. Dylan Cease has only given up 6 hits, but he's also given up 3 runs. The Sox trail 3-1. Cease starts off the bottom of the sixth inning on 85 pitches, and Jorge Soler steps in 0 for 1 with a walk in the first. First pitch to Soler, an outside fastball swung on and fouled off down the first base line. 0-1 the count. Jorge Soler was the 2019 home run champion in the American League. Is that true? That is true, isn't it? It's so weird you don't believe it, but it's true. He's 0-2 now. Pitch swung on and fouled back. Count remains 0-2 from Cease. Now at 88 pitches. He goes into the wind in the pitch. Low and away a slider, 1-2 the count. Michael Kopech and Jace Fry warm in the bullpen. A low outside pitch fouled off into the dugout down the first base line. Count remains 1-2. Sixth inning now in Minnesota. They trail by 2. Low four-seamer misses, 2-2. The count is even. Cease into the wind. Outside pitch sent up the middle, but the shift was on. Mendick knocks it down behind second and will be unable to get it over to first base. They're going to call that an error. And actually, it's Madrigal. Again, I mix them up. The shift throws me off. Madrigal was shifted over. He was behind second base. Ball could not get into his glove. He kept it in front of him and was unable to throw out Soler. Now a ball underneath Moncada's glove down the line. Soler's on his way to third. It's going to be a double. And quickly, Dylan Cease is in trouble. Hunter Dozier comes up, and the first one he puts down the third base line. And Perez is going to come to the plate. They're going to have a meeting on the mound here. Cease has 93 pitches, 32 balls to 61 strikes. He's got to be getting tired at this point. The error by Madrigal doesn't help. Sox have to decide if they're going to make a decision, and now they're going to wave out to the bullpen. We're getting a brand new pitcher. And they're going to bring Michael Kopech into the game. So this is the first time we've seen him come in the middle of an inning. He also has 2 on. Cease is going to leave the game. He only goes 5 innings, and he puts the first 2 guys on. And he looks sharp coming into the 5th. But the error and then the quick double ends his day. And Kopech comes in 16 2/3 innings with a 5.94 ERA, a 2-0 record, 22 strikeouts to 8 walks. Lefties hitting 194 against him, but righties hitting 357. Now remember, that's only over 16 2/3. So that could change very quickly if he puts together a couple of good outings. Sal Perez stands in 0 for 2 and the pitch on the way. Low and inside, a slider for strike 1. Interesting that Renteria goes with Kopech. 2 nights ago, Michael comes in and gives up the deepest home run we've seen all year to Sal Perez. And the manager wants his young pitcher to stare down his demons. Inside pitch fouled off into the camera well down the first base side, 0-2. So he's trying to show him, don't be afraid of this guy. Yeah, he got you the other night. Get him now. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. He struck him out on 3 pitches. Kopech, ice in his veins, makes no reaction, even though he knew that the guy that chased him the other night, when he came into that game and was cruising along, he didn't really chase him. He stayed in and finished the inning, but he gave up a monster shot to him. He knew he was up there. Now he gets a lefty O'Hearn, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, with runners on second and third. Low inside changeup misses 1-0 the count. Fry continues to warm out in the bullpen, just in case. If I'm not mistaken, the 8-hitter is Franco. He's a righty. Then back to a lefty, where you could bring in Fry in Phillips. Inside fastball fouled off, 1-1 the count, but Kopech has to face O'Hearn and Franco under the new rules. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed an inside slider. He was all tied up on that one. 1-2. Kopech checks the runners and delivers. A high 4-seamer at 97 miles an hour, laid off by O'Hearn. The count is even at 2. He looks in, waits for the sign from Grandal. The pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out right down the middle. 100-mile-an-hour fastball. O'Hearn takes the bat with both hands and tosses it towards his own dugout in disgust. He must have felt like a little kid in a batting cage trying to get to that one. Now here comes Franco with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Kopech has come in and struck out the first 2, trying to get the White Sox out of this inning. Franco's 0 for 2, and a 4-seamer on the inside corner misses 1-0 the count. Kopech checks the runners and delivers the pitch. High and outside, but caught the zone 1-1. That was a fastball. The 1-1 pitch on the way. High and tight, goes for ball 2, 2-1 the count, with Brett Phillips, the lefty, on deck. Runners on second and third. They've been there since the beginning of this inning. Fouls back a 2-seamer. Count is even at 2. And Kopech, 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. He inherited with no outs and runners on second and third. Fouls back a slider. Count remains even. The pitch. Pops back a 4-seamer behind the plate. Still 2-2. Franco trying to hang in there. Kopech trying to put him away. Swung on and grounded over to short. Mendick can't get to it, and it's in this left field. 1 run in, play at the plate, 2 runs in. Danny Mendick could not get to that ball at short. 2 runs have scored, and it is 5-1 Kansas City. Michael Kopech comes in and strikes out the first 2. Gets Franco 2-2, and then a ground ball finds its way in between Moncada and Mendick and lightly rolls out in the right field, and both runners score as Jimenez tries to get Dozier at the plate, and he was a hair short of getting him. It's 5-1 Royals now, and immediately Phillips is 0-2, and he strikes him out on 3 pitches, and Kopech comes off the mound. You know, he came in and he pitched very well there. I think Tim Anderson maybe gets to that ball. Danny Mendick did not. It's 5-1 after 6, and the Sox need some runs. The Chicago White Sox are one of the most powerful offenses in baseball, but everybody has an off night. That does not mean, though, they can't score some runs here in this game. And in the top of the 7th, the 9-hitter Madrigal comes up, and the first ball is lifted out in the left field, and it's a fly out, and there's 1 gone. It's not how I want to start this inning. Skoglund stays in, and he'll face Luis Robert 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. And after him, it'll be Grandal. The pitch on the way. High and tight for a strike. 0-1 the count. A low changeup misses 1-1. 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. A 98-mile-an-hour 2-seamer on the outside corner. Normally we see the 4-seamers coming quicker than the 2-seamers, but Skoglund, with the delivery he has, able to get more on the 2-seamer. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded down the third baseline, foul. Sox have 14 games over 500 for the first time all season. Sitting in second place. They've won 5 in a row. This one sent out to center field on the run. The catch will be made. Robert almost had one fall in there, but did not have the luck. And now Grandal comes up 0 for 3 with a ground out in the 5th inning and moves over to the right side of the plate with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. He has been struggling tonight. Loops this one over to second on 2 hops. Merrifield's going to catch it and flip it to first. A quick inning for Skoglund. Sox go down 1-2-3. They're going to sing the song here midway through the 7th. And they're happy they're leading by 4. Ricky Renteria is going to let Michael Kopech continue here in the bottom of the 7th. And why not? The team's down by 4 and the kid needs some work. 4-seamer on the outside corner goes for a strike, 0-1. You know, when we see him out here, I really want to see him be consistent. And right now we don't have that. Change up low and away 0-2. He had that one really great game where he shut out the Twins over 4 in extras in Minnesota. The one game that we won in Minneapolis this year as he strikes out that guy on 3 pitches. Wow, Mondesi is meat there. And Kopech has struck out 4. And the thing is that every once in a while he makes a mistake. Every once in a while he gets himself into trouble. And I don't think that he would be a pitcher that would be going 6 or 7 innings right now if he were a starter. He seems to wear out and use a lot of pitches. Something that Gio Gonzalez does, but he finds a way with the veteran presence to kind of work his way back into a reasonable pitch count and go deeper into games. Gio plays 7th right now on the initial list for starting pitchers in the All-Star game. He's 7-0. Kopech now 2-0 to Alex Gordon here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. 2 pitches inside, just missed. Now a 97-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle, taken for strike 1, 2-1. But that's the thing. I want to see him be consistent. I want to see him put together some good, solid innings. That's a swinging strike, 2-2. And really gain some confidence here, because I believe at some point we're going to need him. At some point, a pitcher's going down. At some point, there'll be an injury. We haven't had a major injury yet on this team. Other teams have seen injuries. We have not seen them. Ground ball down the first base line, 2-2. And yes, there are injuries in this game. We've been fortunate. An outside 4-seamer, 3-2. That one misses. The only problems we've had is a guy maybe needs a day off or 2 days off, and we're able to get him right in, but no DL stints so far for this team. Count is now full to Gordon, who's 2 for 3 in this game, and Merrifield, who's been killing the Sox all day, stands on deck. That one's fouled off down the third base line into the camera well. 3-2 the count remains. Nobody on, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Kopech delivers. High and outside, he tried to get him the chase, but he didn't. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and here's the thing. That's something they have to work on with him. We have seen him on 3-2 pitches throw it really hard, but not in the zone. When it's so fast the guy can't even identify it, he's probably more likely to take and hope that you're wild. And right now that's what teams are doing against him, and he's putting guys on. Now a four-seamer's foul back, 0-1 the count, with a runner on first. Michael Kopech checks the sign and delivers. Outside changeup, 1-1. Evan Marshall warming in the bullpen. He's been going since before this inning started. This one is lifted straight up to Nick Madrigal. He'll make the catch over at second, and yes, this time I'm sure it's Madrigal. I've never had Mendick and Madrigal on the field before. They look exactly the same. When they put these shifts on him, I can't tell sometimes. The way the camera angle works, I can't tell which way we're shifted sometimes. I probably should do better at that. 2 outs now, bottom of the 7th, Soler comes up, and a low outside slider misses for ball 1. He's 0 for 2 in this game. He has a walk. Runner remains at first in Gordon. And a changeup taken for a strike, 1-1 now. Kopech on 34 pitches. And he's only recorded 5 outs. That's a strike high, 1-2, and that's what I'm talking about. If he started this game right now, by the time he got through 2 innings, he'd have 40 pitches. That's not good, especially for a youngster. So maybe he figures out his efficiency in the bullpen. Chris Sale started in the bullpen. We traded Sale for Kopech. We hope he turns into another Sale, although I don't think there'll ever be another Chris Sale, as that one's inside 2-2. But I have no problem with him starting in the bullpen this year. Missed on that one. Soler goes down. He's angry with himself on a swing and a miss at a slider in the zone at the knees. Kopech strikes out yet another. We trail 5-1 going into the top of the 8th inning, and Jose Abreu is 1 for 3 with a double in the first inning. Hitting .266 with 11 home runs, stuck on 11 home runs. The power the White Sox showed in May has tapered off a little in the last couple of weeks. And a high four-seam fastball goes for ball 1. 22,393 in attendance here in Kansas City, their biggest crowd of the 3-game series, as it's Thursday night. And folks are out. Sent over to second base, Merrifield on the 2-hop. Takes his time. Over to first. 1 gone. Here's Yo-Yo. He's 5 for 11 in this series with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. He's 1 for 1 with a double in the 5th and 2 walks. Now he's over on the right side of the plate. Mr. Consistent in the 4 spot. Sent right back up the middle for a base hit, and he's on. I feel like the White Sox MVP could end up being Yoan Moncada, even if Abreu and Grandal and guys like Gio Gonzalez and some of these relief pitchers make the All-Star team. And he doesn't. Because he has been the rock in the 4 spot. And that's a base hit by Jimenez, his first one of the game in the left. And quickly now we have 2 on and 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. And Edwin Encarnacion coming up. Jimenez comes up and on the first pitch puts it in between Mondesi and Dozier at short and third. And Ian Kennedy will come in now. The righty has 11 1/3 innings and a 3.97 ERA. He has 14 games with 11.1 innings. What that tells me is they try to only bring him in for 1 or 2 batters. For that to happen, he'd have to get 2 outs right away here. Encarnacion is 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. There's 2 on and 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. If Edwin gets on, I would imagine a pinch runner at this point for the DH. Inside cut fastball taken for a strike. 0-1 the count. Barlow and McCarthy warming up in the bullpen right now for the Royals. Both righties. Kennedy, a righty, formerly a starter, now coming out of the pen, delivers again. Low, cut fastball, 1-1 the count. Moncada on second, pretty good speed. Jimenez on first, moderate speed on the base paths, not a stolen base threat. That one is ripped deep, back towards the wall. Stay fair. It is not. We've been ripped off twice in this game by balls that just go foul. The second time we've seen a White Sox batter go into a home run trot here, and the ball goes just foul. I feel like I'm being messed with, and then Encarnacion strikes out on the very next pitch. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. He hits it into the night sky. It goes into the home run trot animation. He's waving the ball to stay fair. It looks fair all the way to the pole and then goes right in front of it. And here comes Nomar Mazara. And I don't expect this guy to do anything. 0-1 count here. 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning with 2 on. Kennedy checks the runner. Moncada, the pitch on the way. Low and in the dirt. 1-1 the count. 5-1 game, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Runners in motion. Swung on and fouled off. Hit and run call was clearly on there. Mazara unable to do anything with that pitch that was high in the zone, but in the zone. The 1-2 pitch now. Swung on and fouled off a knuckle curve. Count remains 1-2. Now Mazara takes one outside. 2-2 the count. Counts even at 2. Top of the 8th inning. The pitch. Runners moving, ripped out in the right center field. That's going to get down and go to the wall. Both runners are in motion. Moncada's going to score. Here comes Jimenez around. He's going to score. Mazara's in the second base standing, and the White Sox score 2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. And now trail only by 2 on a 2-run double by Nomar Mazara. Both runners went in the motion like they had earlier on in the at-bat. A hit and run, and he rips one into the right center field gap. The White Sox trying to find some way to get something going. Now have a runner on second base in Mazara and Danny Mendick coming to the plate. Sox are going to put a little bit more speed on here for Mazara, send Leury Garcia out. He will run from second base as Mendick comes up, and Leury will go out then supposedly, reportedly, believably, into right field. Mendick's at the plate with 2 outs, and he puts this one deep out in the left field. Back towards the wall. It's gone! Danny Mendick with a 2-run home run on the first pitch, and the White Sox tie this game with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Royals fans can't believe it, and I am super excited because I hate Royals fans. 397 feet at 100.7 miles per hour. Mendick puts it out in the left field. Nobody moved. Big hit by Danny Mendick into the bullpen area, actually over the bullpen area into the stands. A well-hit ball. Ian Kennedy came in, and the White Sox got him. It's all tied up at 5 with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning, and Nick Madrigal comes up 0 for 3. And the first pitch lifted into center field, coming down quickly. The play will be made. The inning is over. A 5-5 ball game. It happened very quickly. We're midway through the 8th, all knotted up now in Kansas City. Leury Garcia will take over in right field for the White Sox for Nomar Mazara. Came in to pinch run. Wasn't necessary. Mendick on the first pitch hits it over. Evan Marshall's going to come into this game now. 21 games, 26 innings, 3-1 record, 2.42 ERA, 21 strikeouts to 4 walks. Marshall was warming when the Sox thought this was not going to be anywhere close. They have Aaron Bummer up. He's warming right now. Possibility he comes in before this inning is over, but Marshall has to start it. They had nobody going except for Marshall. It looked like he was prepared to come in, and then quickly within a couple of pitches, the White Sox take a 5-1 game and make it 5-5. Marshall's no slouch, though. So far this season, one of the better guys coming out of the pen. And Hunter Dozier at the plate is quickly 2-1. Marshall got the first one across. The next 2 missed inside on close pitches. Dozier is 2 for 2. He's also touched the plate tonight. Swings and misses at a sinker, 2-2 the count. The Angels have opened up a lead now on Minnesota, 9-3. Chopped down the line. Moncada gets it in fair territory over to first. A nice long throw and a nice big out to lead off the bottom of the 8th inning as Sal Perez comes in. in a whole new ball game. I'm telling you, after Encarnacion hits that one, and I think that's a 3-run home run, and we get our feelings messed with again. And then we get Mazara coming up, who's been just terrible all year. And the hit and run works on a 2-2 count. And then Mendick hits a 2-run home run. I can't believe we're even at this point right now. This is what makes baseball fun. This team is fun. Sal Perez is up, 1-1 the count. With 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, the pitch. Swung on and missed a 4-seamer up and in, 1-2. Sox trying to get the sweep here in Kansas City. Trailed 5-1 with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning and put up a 4 spot before the Royals could get out of the inning. The 1-2 pitch down to Perez popped up down the right field line, hooking foul. Garcia gave chase. The 1-2 pitch inside misses a sinker, 2-2. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Evan Marshall on the mound. Deals a Grandal, ground ball over to first, underneath the glove of Abreu. Out in the right field, cut off by Garcia before it gets to the corner. It's a base hit. Abreu was running towards the line, had the glove down, the ball skipped underneath it, and got out in the right field. Perez is on, not a lot of speed at all over there. And Ryan O'Hearn, the lefty, who's 0 for 3, comes to the plate. First pitch, lifted out in the right field, shallow. Underneath it is Leury. He'll make the catch and chase Perez back to first base. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And here comes Maikel Franco. 1 for 3 with a single and 2 runs batted in this game. He had the seeing eye single that just got underneath the glove of Danny Mendick as Kopech was cruising along. He had taken over a situation with 2 on and no out. Second and third, struck out the first 2, and then Franco dribbled one through to score those 2 runs, and now he goes deep down the line. Near the pole, it is foul. And at least the Royals get their emotions played with here. A lot of those tonight. That's the 3rd one where a guy's gone into a home run trot, and finally, it was the Royals, and now Marshall plunks Franco. With 2 outs and a man on, Franco gets hit on the hip. I think he's trying to come inside there. It's not intentional. It wasn't a call from the dugout or anything like that. They're going to bring in Nicky Lopez, the run for Franco over at first base, adding some extra speed on. Meanwhile, Brett Phillips is coming up, and we're going to the bullpen. Aaron Bummer comes out now against the lefty with 2 on and 2 out. 30 games, 31 in the 3rd inning, 7 holds, 1-1 record, 2.01 ERA, 49 strikeouts with 7 walks. He's holding everybody down, lefties and righties, well below the Mendoza line. He's got a lefty here in Phillips who's 0 for 3. He's got runners on first and second. The pitch on the way. Low, a slider, 1-0 the count. Just because Bummer comes in here doesn't mean he couldn't come in the 9th inning. Palome can also save a game. And we haven't seen Cishek yet. The pitch. Low, misses a sinker, 2-0. And Jace Fry has actually been pretty good as well. The bullpen has been solid. They've had a few bumps in the road in the back end of May, but it seems like they got over it over the past week. 2-0 though now to Phillips. The pitch. High, he missed on a cut fastball. He's 3-0. I can't believe Bummer comes in and goes 3-0 right away to the 9-hitter on the Royals. 5-5 game here in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. Bummer checks Perez on second. The pitch. Strike down the middle. 3-1. Bummer takes the hat off, walks in a little bit. Motions a little bit to Grandal, now comes back, looking at the ball. Stands in on the mound, and he'll take the sign. 3-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and up the middle. It gets by Bummer, but not by Mendick. He flips it to first, and he gets him by a hair. A great play by Danny Mendick running behind second base, and on the move throws across his body, getting Phillips and ending the inning. We're through 8, knotted up at 5, and the leadoff man coming up in Luis Robert. Top of the 9th inning, Robert steps up to the plate, 1 for 4. He's got an RBI double and a high cut fastball makes it 1-0. Ian Kennedy actually remains in this game, which is surprising. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on and sent out into left field. Base hit by Robert. We got good speed on board now. Everybody in the ballpark has to expect him to try to steal a base here at some point. The leader in stolen bases in the American League will have to wait a moment as Jesse Hahn comes in. 30 appearances, 63 innings at a 6.86 earned run average. We have gotten to him before. We beat him up the other night. Grandal gets to move over to the left side. He likes it there. And Robert takes a big lead. You know he's going at some point, but when? Perez expects it. An outside pitch misses, 1-0 the count. The Royals have pitched out a lot on the second pitch this year against the White Sox. The Sox, I would assume, know this. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fouled back. 1-1 the count. Roberts still with a lead. They're going to throw over now. You can see the anticipation. They know he's thinking about it. You can put him in a scoring position. It would be a big moment here for the Sox trying to come back and win this game. Down the middle, a two-seamer, 1-2 now to Grandal. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Outside pitch, Roberts going. Thrown from his knees, Perez cannot get him. Luis Robert with his 29th stolen base on an outside pitch, and the count is even to Grandal with a runner now on second. The next offering, swung on and sent back to Hahn, who's going to flip the first. That would have been a double play ball. Luckily, Robert standing on second. He'll remain there as he was checked back to second before to throw it over to first. The pitcher makes the 1-3 putout, and there's one out here in the top of the ninth inning, and Abreu comes to the plate 1-for-4. First pitch fouled back, an inside fastball, 0-1. Inside pitch lifted into center field. No, he dropped it. He dropped it. Robert got back to second. Abreu is safe. They're going to call that a base hit. That is a home field official scorer. That ball got dropped. And it hit the glove, and now here comes Moncada, 2-for-2 with a double, a single, and a run scored, 6-for-12 in the series with 3 RBI. He's got 2 on and 1 out here. In the top of the ninth inning, Abreu over at first base. Robert, the go-ahead run at second. The first pitch, a strike down the middle on a circle change, 0-1 the count. Moncada's hitting .328 with runners in scoring position, which is pretty much where his average sits. So no real difference depending on the situation. Like I said earlier, rock solid. Just depends on if he gets a pitch to hit here. The 0-1 pitch, high and inside, taken for a ball, 1-1. Behind him is Eloy Jimenez. Alex Colome warms in the pen as well. 5-5 game. Top of the ninth, 1 out. The pitch. Swung on and sent out into right center field, tailing back towards the wall. It is off the wall. Robert coming around third. No, he will hold. Luis Robert, for some reason, thought that ball was going to get caught. That was way too conservative for my liking. I don't understand it. That is the second time today a White Sox batter should have scored and instead ends up sitting at third base. Fastest runner on your team, and he doesn't go home. He was hung up, standing in the middle of second and third, and started to retreat back to second, thinking the catch was going to be made. I believe there was no way there was going to be a catch made there, as Jimenez is 2-0 with the bases loaded. No way a catch was going to be made there. Robert hesitates on the base paths, a mental error, and when he came around third, I still think he has a chance to score there, but the base coach holds him up. Now here's Robert, who's 1-for-4 with the bases loaded and 1 out. And we should be leading this 6-5, but instead it's tied up at 5. Fastball on the outside corner, 2-1. Moncada's on first, Abreu on second, and Robert, regretfully, still at third base. We have seen some questionable decisions by the third base coach today. Sent down the third base line, foul ball, count is even at 2. Sox could easily have gotten 2 more runs in this game if not for decisions made at third. Now Jimenez swings and misses, and there's 2 gone. Brutal. Sox don't get a run across here. Somebody should be fired. Earlier in the year, guys were getting thrown out like crazy at home. Now all of a sudden, We don't even try. Here's Encarnacion with a double in the fourth. He's 1 for 3, only 2 for 11 in the series. He fouls off a two-seamer. 0-1 the count. Just missed a home run his last time up. Sox got 4 with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Let's see if they can get 1 here with 2 outs in the 9th. Outside slider misses 1-1. Bases loaded. Sox threatening here. The pitch. Swung on and up the middle. Base hit. Robert will score. Here comes Abreu. He will score, and the Sox lead 7-5. Edwin Encarnacion picks up Luis Robert, and the mistake over at third base with a 2-run single. Base hit over the head of Merrifield at second base. And now the Sox lead 7-5 with Leury Garcia up and runners at first and second. Moncada's at second. First base is Edwin Encarnacion. That one's fouled off down the third base line, 0-2 the count. Garcia hitting .273, his first at bat of the game as he came in as a base runner. Now puts this one into center field, base hit. Moncada coming around. He will score under the tag on a close play. They sent him that time. That's a frustration send there by the third base coach, who's angry with himself that he gave up 2 runs. Now he sends Moncada a bang-bang play, and he's safe under the tag. Perez almost gets him. They're showing the replay. He gets the hand in there a hair before that glove hits him on the arm. The Sox have put up 3 now, and Scott Barlow is coming into the game. Here comes Danny Mendick. He was the man that hit the 2-run home run that tied this ball game last inning. Now he lifts one out in the deep right field that'll be caught by Soler near the track. Danny Mendick took his vitamins today. The inning is over, but the White Sox score 4 with 2 outs in the top of the 8th and 3 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th and lead 8-5 here in Kansas City. Alex Colome is going to come in here in the 9th inning. 20 games, 6 saves and 10 opportunities. 4 blown saves, 18 and 1/3 innings, 2.95 ERA, 23 strikeouts to 10 walks. He's got a 3-run lead here in the bottom of the 9th. And he'll kick it off against Alberto Mondesi, the leadoff hitter, and a cut fastball high and inside goes for a strike. 0-1 the count. Mondesi's 2 for 8 lifetime against Colome with 2 doubles. Good situation here to bring in Alex. There's a ground ball over to third, scooped by Moncada over to first, 1 gone quickly. Here in the bottom of the 9th, the White Sox trailed this game all game long. At one point they tied it up at 1-1, and immediately the Royals came back and got 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They made it 5-1, and with 2 outs in the 8th, the Sox put together a couple of hits, including a big 2-run home run by Danny Mendick, tie this game, and then with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the top of the 9th, get 3 off a couple of hits and lead 8-5. If you are a Royals fan right now, you are likely sitting in your chair with your head down. You don't care because you drank too much to even realize your team isn't even winning anymore because you thought it was over a couple of innings ago. As it's a 1-2 pitch now to Gordon, swung on and grounded over to short, scooped, sent over, 2 gone. Or you're out in the parking lot banging your head off of the steering wheel, which is where I would be at this point. Whit Merrifield comes up, and how poetic is this? All this guy did was beat up the White Sox all day long, and his team gave it up. And he's going to send this one out in the left field, and right away he gets a hit. It would have been more poetic if he would have been the last out. But Merrifield doesn't want to die here. He's had a great game against the Sox, his best one of the season against us. We've held him down, and he's the 3-hitter for their team, so that's an accomplishment. So now there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. We got a runner on first. Jorge Soler comes up, 0 for 3. And Alex Colome will try to finish the game against him. Colome checks the runner, the pitch on the way. Low, cut fastball, taken for a ball, 1-0 the count. Now a strike down the middle and a cut fastball. Count even at 1. The 1-1 pitch misses low and away, 2-1 the count. And now a strike at the knees, count is even at 2. A cut fastball to Soler. So here's Colome with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Sox going for the sweep in their 6th win in a row with a runner on first and a 3-run lead. The pitch. Swung on and missed. This ball game is over. The White Sox sweep the Royals. An improbable comeback. Trailing by 4 with 4 outs to go and end up winning by 3. And the handshakes again by that White Sox infield. This is their new thing. It's kind of funny. They all gather around second base in a big circle and shake hands like gentlemen, and then the high fives come out. Very interesting. Anyway, White Sox win this game. Great win for this team. 6th win in a row. They're rolling. Likely the Twins lose. You're going to gain a little bit of ground on them, which is a good thing after sweeping them this past weekend. And we head back to Chicago, and we've got Detroit for 3. And we start a nice homestand. Aaron Bummer gets the win. He only had to face one batter. Danny Mendick, 2 for 5 with a home run and a double as your player of the game. He had 2 RBIs on that 2-run home run. Yohan Moncada, 3 for 3 with a double and 2 runs scored. Luis Robert, 2 for 5 with a double, an RBI, and a run. Not bad. First time ever leading off for this team. And Jose Abreu, 2 for 5 with a double and a run scored. Alex Colome gets the save. Good for him. It's been a few weeks. An inning pitch where he gave up a hit and struck out the final batter. The White Sox win this game on 8 runs with 14 hits and an error against Kansas City's 5 runs on 10 hits with an error. Sox sweep the Royals. We're headed back to Chicago. Good job. 15 over. You have been listening to White Sox Simulated Baseball on Sox in the Basement, covered by Sox on 35th. Remember, check them out. After you've listened to this, they're going to have the recap, the box score, and player stats up to this time. It's all brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park, 33rd and Princeton. They're open. And also brought to you by the patio over at Cork and Carry on Western Avenue. Little bit of life getting back to normal. Maybe we get baseball soon. Until then, you have White Sox Simulated Baseball. Brought to you by Sox in the Basement, the podcast for fans by fans, and found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Sox in the Basement. Sox in the Basement. Sox in the Basement.
Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always on soxinthebasement.com.